Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Monday, it's August 21st, it is 2023. We have 8 baseball games to talk about here on today's podcast, joined today by my good buddy, Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Chief, hope you had a fantastic weekend, my friend.
It was just okay, man. I didn't reach my profit levels that I wanted to reach, but that's okay. I did kind of start getting into some preseason, and so I'm kind of starting to get prepared for football. Still loving baseball. I know we're in the dog days of baseball, and some people are like, "Oh, baseball's getting on my nerves now." I'm still enjoying it. Still one of my favorite DFS sports, pick'em sports. But, if I'm going to be prepared, I know I have to look at some football stuff to get ready. And so I have been doing that, getting involved in preseason, just to kind of get the whistle wet, if you will. So I'm just glad to come on, man. The industry continues to thrive, and I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I'm part of the crew that helps, that runs the RotoGrinders XM hosting spots. So, if you didn't know, RotoGrinders on XM Saturday and Sunday nights, fantasy sports radio. But so we have been talking NFL for months now. I feel like between best ball and answering people's questions and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm very, very ready for the season to be here. Very ready. Glad the baseball's back. Decent NASCAR weekend, good Xfinity race. As far as profit, and then I profited in the Cup race. It wasn't a lot, but looking at like my percentages and ownership, I probably should have lost money.
So you'll take it.
I'll take it. William Byron saved my butt. Was very high on him, and had enough exposure to Byron that it worked out. But
that's the crazy thing about like having kind of massive exposure to a guy. Like one guy can literally save your butt, man. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. Got Daytona coming up this week for NASCAR. Very excited about that. Daytona week, last week of the regular season for the Cup Series. So should be wild. So I'll be excited to be back in Daytona.
Yes, sir.
For the race. But 8 baseball games. Nice little Monday slate here. Hope everybody on the West Coast is doing well. And hope this storm is not, storm and all kinds of stuff going on in LA.
Yeah.
So thoughts and prayers, and hopefully everything is good. So what's up, YouTube? Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday night. Yeah, it's Sunday night. Am I going to Daytona? Yes, I'll be at the track. So if you're going to be in the fan zone at Daytona, I typically don't go up into the stands. But if you're going to be in the fan zone, feel free to hit me up on Twitter if you want to say hi. I'll gladly meet anybody. Love talking to the people that play fantasy. So, all right, Will, we get started here. St. Louis Cardinals at Pittsburgh. No total in this game. It sounds like Drew Rome will get his Major League debut here. I think it's his Major League debut. I don't think he started in the majors or played in the majors yet, but sounds like he's going to get the start here going up against Faulkner. Any interest in Drew Rome?
I don't know what the leash is. I think I'm just going to need to do some digging. Like I know he was part of the trade with Flaherty, so I know that was a part of it. And I know he's been in AAA. Like at 4K, if they're saying he's going to get,
he's stretched out.
I know, but I'm saying like if they're actually saying they're going to give him 80-ish pitches, you know what I'm saying? Like in his first start, if that's the case, I'll consider it against Pittsburgh. But that's kind of where I am. I'm not thrilled about it. It's just he's 4K. I don't mind, and this would be mass multi-entry only. Like definitely not single entry, definitely not 3-entry max. Like he's not on that radar at all. I don't even think I'd have him in 20-entry max, Stevie, for what it's worth. But 150 max, I'd probably have a sprinkle.
Yeah, I mean the price is definitely appealing here. So I get the appeal of the price. I like the matchup, left-handed pitching against this team. Here, I was trying to find some data out on him. as far as like his prospect rankings and stuff.
Yeah.
And couldn't find anything. So I don't know if he's like a big prospect or anything like that. Like I said, I couldn't find anything on him as far as prospect. On FanGraphs, he grades out as like a below average fastball, average command, average slider. I will say, like in AAA this season with Baltimore, he has, I mean, he's definitely averaged over a strikeout per inning. He's had some upside as far as strikeouts. He doesn't have like a huge swinging strike rate, which is a little concerning.
So he's Rich Hill, basically.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, now
if he's Rich Hill, I think he'll enjoy his career, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, overall, they have a few guys here, right? They have Connor Joe, they have Hayes, they have McCutcheon, they have some decent left-handed hitters, or right-handed hitters against left-handed pitching. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're playing him, it's more of you're just playing a 4K pitcher and you're hoping.
That's it.
And like, I think if he's pitching well, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes 80 plus pitches here. Like he's fully stretched out. Other side of this game, we have Bailey Faulkner. Any interest here in Faulkner?
No.
Falter. Yeah, I mean, Cardinals, as much as they like sold at the deadline, I mean, they still have a lot of right-handed power in this lineup.
Yeah.
Goldschmidt, Arenado, Contreras, Walker, Lucan Baker is up with the team right now. So a lot of upside left-handed pitching right now for St. Louis. I don't have any interest in Falter either. Let's talk some St. Louis bats, though. I do have some interest here. Win at 2,500 at shortstop. I think he should crack the lineup here. Lucan Baker, like I said, he is up with the big league club right now. I will say I hate that we can't play him and Goldschmidt together. I would definitely prefer Goldie. But yeah, I mean, Goldie, Arenado's, Contreras, top of the list. And then you got O'Neill, Walker, and, these cheap guys.
Yeah, man. These guys really let me down last week against Lucchesi. Just pooped all on my head, Stevie. But I'm going right back. I'm still going right back to my boy Tommy Edman. I'm still going right back to my boy Arenado. Like, Arenado, the ISO's there. The K rate's still around 14% against left-handed pitching. I can't avoid those type numbers, Stevie. Even when they're not scoring runs, the data suggests that they're good enough to hit put some tags on a left-handed pitcher that's not elite. And so I'm in on this offense. I'll be right back to the well.
I agree with Richie. Richie says St. Louis always disappoints when I play them.
St. Louis, the Padres, those two teams I haven't been able to get right all year, Stevie. Like every time they're in the spot of all spots, they score like 2 runs. And I'm like, come on, man.
You got to love it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, got to love it.
Boston's on that list for me, too.
Boston is on that list.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Let's talk Pittsburgh, right? Below average strikeout pitcher, or fastball. Decent strikeout stuff in the minors, but like his swinging strike rate definitely worries me in the majors. If he's not generating swinging strikes in the minors, he's likely not going to do it in the majors. So, I have some interest here in McCutcheon, Hayes, Joe, Eddie Rodriguez. Really any of these right-handed hitters that crack the lineup here. Reynolds doesn't have a ton of power against lefties, but he's good against lefties as well. So this might be a little like mini game stack for me.
Yeah, I like this spot, Stephen. I kind of have another one of my interesting hard fast rules outside of kind of just not playing Coors. Call up, come into the majors, young pitcher. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. I always want to run at least a couple of low stacks against him, right? Just in case he gets himself into some early troubles. And, it's later in the season. My assumption is they're at least going to try to give him an opportunity to get through this game efficiently. I want to have a couple Pittsburgh stacks on deck just in case, Mr. Rom here gets himself into some serious trouble. So I'm not saying Pittsburgh's elite, but they are cheap. I can still get really good pitching in and stack a couple of these guys with them, especially McCutcheon. He's on my list today for sure.
Yeah, even if you don't want to stack, like any of these right-handed guys that crack the lineup should be in play today. I know. I know. Pirates 1 hit versus Keuchel. I know. You can't make this stuff up. So.
Yeah, I know.
That's why we like the 4K pitcher. Going back to that conversation, that's why we like the 4K pitcher. So. All right, moving on. We got the Mets and the Braves. No total in this game. It sounds like Alan Winans is going to pitch for Atlanta today, and everything I've read says he's going to be recalled and pitching this one.
Winans has been good for us, just coming up pitching. It's been good.
Yeah, Peterson on the other side of this game. We start with the visiting team. Any interest in Peterson?
Oh, no. Not at all.
You think Atlanta's good or something?
Man. Jeez.
Yeah. Like Peterson
their bad days are 4 runs. That's been their bad days.
I mean, Peterson's shown some strikeout ability. Don't get me wrong. But one, he's not going terribly deep into games, and like his command has just been awful. You struggle with command against like a team like Atlanta, you might not make it out of the 3rd inning.
He might not. He hasn't made it past 4 innings since coming back. For what it's worth.
All right. Well, if you struggle with a command against a team like Atlanta, you might not make it out of the 2nd inning. Now what do you got?
I agree.
Let's talk Alan Winans here. 7,500 will pitch fantastic against the Mets. How about 8-9 days ago? Just absolutely crushed them, really. Do you have any interest here?
So, Stevie, here's what I have interest in. They let him go 111 pitches. Now, part of that is probably because he was just rolling, right? Like, that's what I think happened. But, Steve, it was 21-3 that game. It's not going to be 21-3 this game, and that was in Citi Field. At 7,500, I think I have some interest. I'm not expecting 23 fantasy points. I'm really just expecting between 15 and 20, and I'm fine with that. Like, we're not looking for that repeat performance. It's not happening. I can tell you that right now. But allowing him to go to 111 pitches, they gave him, obviously a couple of extra days rest. Like, this does have me intrigued, even though they've seen him recently.
Yeah, I really like his pitch mix for what it's worth. He is a guy that throws like a sinker, changeup, slider, and barely uses his fastball from everything I've read. So I like that pitch mix. It's a very interesting pitch mix. If I sound tired, I am. Yeah. Sunday night podcasts are tough for me.
You know who he might be like, maybe a better version of? Marcus Stroman. Like, think about Stroman. Stroman throws fastball a lot either. And so if he's throwing sinker, slider, changeup, he's probably going to, continue to generate ground balls and keep the guys off center. I'm with you, man. I like it.
As far as the Mets bats are concerned, I mean, you can play Alonso against anybody. Alonso Lindor. I don't have a ton of interest in the Mets today, but I mean, they did just face this guy. So if you wanted to make a Mets stack, I wouldn't sit here and talk you off of it.
Yeah, I don't mind a one-off Lindor, a one-off Alonso, maybe a one-off Alvarez, but I am not playing the Mets today.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, this guy's not like a top 10 prospect or anything. He grades out as, potentially a slightly above average pitcher. Atlanta bats against Peterson. This is definitely a stack that I am on and very interested in today.
Man, Steven, once again, the big bats of Atlanta show up on a slate against another weak pitcher, and I think we have to have some interest here. I'm in on it. Like, Harris is going to be back. He was out of the lineup Sunday, but so yeah, I'm in on this lineup big time. I think we can find ways to fit them in. We talked about our cheap 4K pitcher already. That's another viable avenue, and I'm not saying we need to load up on him, but he still gives us an avenue to be able to pick him up. I do have another cheap pitcher today that I really like, Steve. I really like him in this spot. And we'll get to him soon, but I think we can fit Atlanta in, and we need to do it today.
Yeah, I mean, if Harris is back in there with the foot, or if they give him a day off, we could potentially get a value bat in this lineup. But, I mean, don't be afraid to go lefty-lefty in this matchup. No issues playing the lefties here. So,
Steve, I got to give our boy Richie a shout-out. Like, this is low-key hilarious. He says, any relation to BB or CC Winans. So I'm talking about the Winans pitcher from Atlanta. That's so hilarious. Oh, my gosh. Low key, very funny. Richie, yeah. Gold star. You
got Will. He was chuckling over here. I was like, what is he chuckling at? And I had to look at chat. I was like, oh, okay. That makes more sense. All right. Seattle at Chicago.
Ooh, baby.
Taking on the White Sox. 8.5 total in this game. The Mariners, a 175 favorite. We have Castillo and Tuki Toussaint. Any interest here in Castillo at 10-3?
I have some today. Facing the White Sox, should be able to pick up some strikeouts. I know Stevie gave up 9 hits against Kansas City. I'm going to overlook that. Every pitcher is going to get touched up. We're later in the season. But this is a matchup that he can get the job done at 10-3. I'm in on it.
Yeah, White Sox coming off of a series in Coors too, whether you like that or you don't like it. The change of elevation is always something that is there. So, yeah, I mean, I have a ton of interest in Castillo. I played him a lot in that start against Kansas City and ate it a little bit, but I'm definitely going back to the well. He's been pitching great. He had a bad start. It's going to happen. Right back to the well in Luis Castillo today. I think this is a great spot for him. Tuki Toussaint on the other side here, 7.5. Any interest in him against Seattle?
I got plenty outside of Mr. Rodriguez, who's just hitting everything right now, Stevie. I'm sure you've seen it. Gosh, man, his total bases, I think, over the past few games. I don't know. It's stupid. But outside of Julio, I still think there's strikeouts in this lineup. Tuki Toussaint has been able to get strikeouts. Let's call it a rough game the other day. Only 6 fantasy points, but faced the Cubs team that, once again, has been hitting well. He walked too many guys, Steve. He walked 5 guys in that game. He's walked 5 guys in back-to-back games. So that's very concerning. But what's not concerning, I don't think, is whether or not the strikeouts in the Seattle lineup. They're there. We just need him to not get touched up. If he can pitch with some control, I like him a ton. So at 7,500, if he was 8,500, Stevie, wouldn't be playing him at all. At this price, though, he does have some strikeout upside. I'm willing to roll the dice again.
I wasn't yawning, I promise. I mean, so I do think Seattle, I always say this about Seattle, right? I think they're a very talented offense. They're an offense that is extremely talented, and they can beat any pitcher, but they also strike out a lot. I mean, this is a team that strikes out a ton. So, I mean, if you're playing large field tournament stuff, you're trying to beat 40, 50, 60, 70,000 people in a tournament. I mean, Tuki Toussaint is a guy you get some exposure to. If you're playing like a single entry, 3-entry max, you probably don't get to him at all. And you probably get to some of the Seattle bats because, I mean, Tuki Toussaint does give up home runs. He is hittable. When he's on, he can strike out 6, 7, 8, 9 of these guys. So, I mean, he has some upside. He really hasn't put together a good game because of the walk issues. You start walking Seattle, man, they have so much power throughout this lineup that, I mean, they could beat you. So, while I do have some interest in Toussaint and large field stuff, I have a lot of interest in the Seattle bats today. I think this is a great spot. Tuki continues to struggle with command. We saw this with Atlanta when he was a top-end prospect. He was touted as one of the better prospects for a long time there, it felt like, and just struggle with command. This is a team that will punish you. Julio Rodriguez, Ty France, Teoscar Hernandez, Mike Ford, Ken Zone. They have power throughout this lineup. So Seattle, I think, is a really sneaky stack. You're getting them on the road. You're guaranteed 9. I like Seattle a lot today.
Oh, I also like Seattle. I don't disagree with anything you said. And really, that's the deal with Seattle all season, Stevie. Like, the power is there. Just will they hit the ball today? Right? That's That's what
they don't even know that though. Will
right?
They don't wake up knowing they're going to hit or not.
Yeah, will they hit the ball today? And so I'm with you. I still think Tukey has value at 7,500 because I think the strikeouts are there. Once again, we just need him to not give up timely hits and walks, and he can get there. But I'm equally interested in the Seattle offense because of the upside that they possess. I think both sides are good today, and that's the interesting thing about baseball. Like, hedging is good, in my opinion. You can't hedge everything, but like a spot like this where Toussaint could get 9 strikeouts or this team could touch him up for 10 runs, I think you take both sides here.
White Sox bats. Any interest in the White Sox against Castillo?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. We know that like Jimenez was put on paternity leave. We don't know if he'll be back or not for this game. I assume he'll be back for this game, but we'll see. Because I assume that like he flew back to Chicago in this game. They're back in Chicago, so like he might be in the lineup here. But I mean, I have a ton of interest in Castillo. I have a ton of respect for Castillo. No real interest in me in this spot for the White Sox. We got Boston at Houston, 9 total in this game. The Astros a 130 favorite. We got Paxton and Christian Javier. Derek in chat says Squirrel Patrol took down second with the Seattle stack last night. Yes, I wanted to give a congratulations to John taking down second place in the DK Live final.
600K on this one too.
Yeah, Team RG and Squirrel Patrol has been absolutely crushing this season. So low-key top 5 DFS player of all time. So yeah, I don't even know if it's low-key anymore. For a long time, just absolutely has crushed. So congratulations.
And the thing about Squirrel too, like he goes to these live finals, he's taking some type of big payday home. Like very rarely does Squirrel come back empty-handed. Like he's second, third, fourth. He's top 10 most of these things. Bringing home over $500,000 last night. I'll take that any day of the week.
With a Seattle stack against Framber Valdez, kudos to you, man. Your kahunas are bigger than mine. Any interest in Paxton against Houston here?
No. Look, man. I'm just not attacking Houston right now. This team's been hitting pretty well, and it's mostly because they're getting healthy. Stevie, don't look now. My boy Michael Brantley started to take some batting practice. Oh boy, this offense is really going to take off. I just need to go ahead and order my Michael Brantley jersey now. And I'm not even a Houston fan. I'm just a Michael Brantley fan. So, but I'm not playing Paxton today.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of interest in Paxton. Houston's third WRC plus against left-handed pitching this season. They have one of the lowest strikeout rates in baseball against left-handed pitching this year. And honestly, they're just a very right-handed heavy offense. So I think this is a bad spot for James Paxton. So I know like Kyle Tucker, I know he was banged up over the weekend and stuff. I think it was like illness or something like that is what I remember reading. I did like a quick sweep before the show. Having XM on Sunday nights, like backing up to this, I got to say hi to my wife, let her know that I still here. Christian Javier against my Red Sox here. The Red Sox dealing with a couple injuries right now as well. Duran and Cassis is banged up. Duran, I think he like hit hurt his toe or something on Sunday and left the game. And then Cassis had some like tooth thing with an infection. And anybody that's had any kind of tooth infection, how much it sucks. Any interest in Christian Javier here?
I don't know if I want to do it, Stevie. So Javier's been all over the place to me this season. Here's one of the things that really hasn't changed, though. He's still giving up all these hits. He's giving up runs. And I know Boston's dealing with, some issues, right? But, Javier's nowhere near where he was last season in terms of strikeouts. It's just at 20% over the last 30 days and 21% of the season, still struggling with lefties. I don't know if this is the spot, man. And he's 7,100, and I get it. Like, if this is Javier from last year, he's 9K in this spot. He's way too cheap for his previous upside. I think where he is right now, though, this is just right. I'm afraid Javier gets run over. I don't want to do it. I don't think he has more strikeout upside than Tukey in this spot, believe it or not. I don't think he has it.
Yeah, it's so weird. This is a guy that had a 33% K rate last year, and it's dipped under 22%. He's given up more fly balls. He's been giving up a ton of fly balls lately too. Like his last 30 days, his fly ball rate's 53% with 53% hard hits. I don't like Javier. My favorite pitcher on the slate is in this price range. We haven't talked about him yet. We'll get there. But I have someone in this price range that I absolutely love today. So I don't have any interest in Christian Javier today. Kind of like the Red Sox bats. I mean, I just said, like, this guy's been giving up a ton of fly balls and a ton of hard contact. And, Rafael Devers, you can kind of say, hey, I'm going to play Devers, Duvall, Yoshida, and then just build around that, like, stack. But, yeah, I have a ton of interest today in the Red Sox.
Yeah, don't hate Verdugo here. He's a guy that's not going to strike out a ton. The other thing about Javier too, Stevie, the walks over the past month too, like especially the lefties, 14%. He's 12% to righties over the past month, but just he's obviously having some control issues when the walks are coming up. I mean, mid double digits. So you're talking about, guys like Devers, Yoshida, and Verdugo. Those three bats alone could make him pay early. Like they could run the pitch count up on him very early if he's having some issues. Duvall, I know, is going to swing free, and we know Trevor Story is going to swing free, but these guys still have the power to knock it out of the park. So I like Boston as well. I do kind of want to see where they end up with some of the lineup construction, but I think Boston's a good team to target today. They're in Houston, so once again, they're going to get the ninth inning to bat around again. So could see some nice upside here, and hopefully they don't let me down. Hopefully this is a spot nobody's on them, and they come through for us.
Houston bats against Paxton. What are your thoughts here on the Houston bats?
Yeah, definitely like Houston. I think Houston is a spot, Stevie, where the Paxton name value may keep their ownership down. I feel like that's close to the case. We've seen Bregman. The only thing, they're expensive, but Bregman at 5,500 hasn't been striking out a ton, obviously. Tuve at 6,400. He hasn't been striking out a ton. You got these guys at the bottom like McCormick. They just got guys that are going to hit, and so I like this lineup a great deal. And I think I want to target Paxton because of the name value alone. I think it's going to keep the Houston ownership way down.
Yeah, I'll say, like, if you look at Paxton's season-long numbers, you're going to be like, man, this guy's been really solid against right-handed pitching. But ever since he's kind of got hurt and came back this year, he's really struggled with right-handed hitters. I think I said right-handed pitching. I meant right-handed hitters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I definitely have interest in Altuve. He's going to put the ball in play. Honestly, the guy that I'd probably like the least here is Bregman. He has been awful against left-handed pitching this season. Chas McCormick has been great against lefties this year. Like, I wouldn't mind even one-offing McCormick. He's kind of in a weird price range where I don't think a lot of people get to him. But, I mean, Chas McCormick, not like a household name, but he's been great against lefties this year. So, very interested in him. Jordan Alvarez, lefty. Don't hate it. Paxton's kind of reverse splitsy anyway, so like he does typically will struggle with lefties from time to time. So yeah, I mean Alvarez can hit home runs against anybody. Very interested in McCormick for Houston today. All right, we got Cincinnati at LA taking on the Angels. 9 total in this game. I assume these games are going to play. I was looking and I couldn't find any news about them moving Monday's games. I know they moved Sunday's baseball games to Saturday. In a lot of places, but couldn't find any news on that. So we're just going to assume that they're playing here. We got Ashcraft against Giolito in this one. Will is gone. He said, I'm out. He said, I'm not doing the show anymore. He said, peace out. Graham Ashcraft at 8,500 here against the Angels. I think the price tag might be a little too steep here for Ashcraft. I don't think he's necessarily a bad pitcher. I mean, he's someone that definitely can go out and eat up some innings. He doesn't typically have a huge ceiling for strikeouts. Only one game in his last 7, over 20 fantasy points. So I don't have a ton of interest in Ashcraft here. I do think like the Angels lineup overall is beatable, but I don't know if this is necessarily a spot I want to play Graham Ashcraft. Lucas Giolito on the other side of this game. I mean, we know like when Giolito's right, like his upside is definitely high. He really hasn't pitched great since coming over to the Angels. I mean, this is definitely a Reds team that is extremely talented. We've been talking about them quite a bit here. But, I mean, there's still a team, like, because of all the young hitters, they do strike out quite a bit. So if you wanted to, in large field tournaments, take some shots on Giolito, I think that ownership definitely plays a factor into taking some shots here on Giolito. So if you see that, like, the projected ownership for Giolito is down and you want to take some shots on him here, it's like a boom-bust spot. There's strikeouts in this lineup, but there's a lot of solid hitters in this lineup, a lot of power. Will, I talked about Ashcraft and Giolito. Any interest in either one of these guys?
Yeah, Giolito at 9,300. I definitely think he has some upside here. Now, we've seen him, be a mixed bag as well this season, but we've also seen Cincinnati, especially recently, Steve. We've been striking out a ton. And so at 9,300, I think he's got enough upside to get us 25 fantasy points, 25 DraftKings points. I think that's something he can absolutely do. In terms of Ashcraft at 8,500. So for Ashcraft, the strikeouts haven't been there. He's just had a long leash. I'm probably less likely to play Ashcraft than I am to play Giolito. Like Giolito, I'll absolutely play. Ashcraft, he probably sits on the shelf for me.
Yep. See, we're on the same page, and Will didn't even know it because he disconnected. So there you go.
Yeah.
Cincinnati bats against Giolito. I mean, when Giolito's off, I mean he's beatable. The Reds are like one of those teams where like they have upside. So if you want to stack them, I mean, you go ahead and stack them. Is this necessarily the best spot in the world? No. But I mean, they're kind of in that like mid-tier price range now. They're not like overly expensive. They have some cheap bats in the lineup. What are your thoughts on the Reds bats? Oh, he lagged out again. So yeah, I mean, for me on the Reds, like I said, they're not overly expensive. They're kind of middle of the road. I mean, one-offs for them, I feel like the one-offs is where it gets interesting. Will Benson's cheap at 3,300. Encarnacion Strand is 3,400 at first base, so you got to kind of decide whether or not you're going to play him or Votto in a Cincinnati stack. But if you're one-offing, I don't mind looking at some of these cheaper bats. Elly De Cruz obviously gives you a lot of upside stolen base-wise. Matt McClain gives you a lot of upside with power and stolen base upside. So a lot of different ways to approach the Reds lineup. If Fairchild is back in the lineup, I highly doubt he will be for what it's worth. He potentially a value play, but he left Sunday's game and is in the concussion protocol. So I highly doubt he plays in this game. And then Jake Fraley is in surgery or going into surgery, and he's going to be out with a toe injury. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you want to stack the Reds, you could take some shots on here. The lineup could be really bad. Could give a lineup. You could get a lineup bump here to Giolito.
Yeah, it was bad on the previous slate, Stevie. Very bad. Like we saw Ryu, who has been struggling since coming back. I think Ryu had 7 or 8 strikeouts in that game against this bad lineup. So I'm expecting Giolito to give us something similar. I will say I have cleared up my issue. I disconnected from my real Wi-Fi, Stevie. I am now my mobile hotspot with Verizon Wireless, and it won't drop. Okay, so I don't. Spectrum cable is just I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I'm on my mobile hotspot. We'll be good the rest of the way.
Anybody that has Spectrum gets it. Don't worry.
Yeah. I don't really want to play Cincinnati bats. I think I'm just going to stick with Giolito and kind of let that be it.
Any interest here in the Angels bats?
I don't mind Ohtani. Like, this is a guy that's just going to continue to rake all season. I do think, Ashcraft is going to give up some hits. He's also going to have a ton of ground balls. I don't feel like this is a team that I want to just load up on anyway. I have been tracking Mike Moustakas for what it's worth. He is, he has been hitting better. He is a cheap first baseman, Stevie, or third baseman that I will consider because he's very cheap today, and I like the fact that his hitting has been improving. But Ohtani and Moustakas are kind of the guys I like.
Price on Moniak has come down. He's back to 4,100. I think you could do a little like 3-man here.
Yeah, I like it.
With Ohtani, Moniak, and then use like Moustakas as like the value guy to, kind of make it all work. So that's kind of how I would approach the Angels in this spot.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got Kansas City at Oakland, 8.5 total in this game. We have Davidson and Blackburn facing off against each other. Will, any interest here in? Oh no, it's Marsh, right? I think it's Marsh.
Marsh.
But it'd be an opener situation. Like Davidson might open for Marsh. Any interest here in Marsh in this like reliever role? He's been throwing 4 or 5 innings. Good matchup.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, this is an interesting one for me, Steve, because it is a good spot, and at 5,800, I mean, Marsh, Stevie, he could pick up 15 to 20 here. Like, I like him at 5,800. He's definitely another guy in relief that we need. I trust him more than the 4K pitcher because I've seen his body of work over the season, and he's getting a rough team today. I trust him a lot more than I trust, Rom. So at 5,800, I'm in against Oakland, and yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind taking some shots here on Marsh. I'd probably play the 4K guy better. But yeah. Any interest here in Paul Blackburn?
I like Blackburn, Stevie. 7K. A guy that has a leash. So, when I'm playing cheap guys, he doesn't have to have all the strikeout stuff in the world. Although Blackburn does have some, right? And this lineup should give him an opportunity to pick up some. I think he gets 4 or 5 here. What I like is typically his leash is long. Now, I know he was facing St. Louis, and he got through 7 innings, and they just pulled him at 86 pitches. I get it. He's still already given up 6 hits and a walk, right? But typically, he's a guy that's going to be mid to high 90s and able to get over 100 pitches. You're giving me that against Kansas City in Oakland? I love it. I'm in.
Favorite pitcher on the slate for me. I said there's a guy in this range that I really like today. Paul Blackburn, point per dollar, is my favorite pitcher on the slate today. Love this spot. He's been pitching phenomenal here recently. I think he's only allowed like 2 home runs in his last 5 starts, and he's been pitching great. He's had some tough matchups and pitched well in them. So he's had some good matchups and easier matchups as well. But, I mean, this is a matchup where, I keep saying Kansas City's a bottom 5 WRC plus team. They strike out a bunch. Yeah, they have upside. They have a lot of young hitters that have upside. But when you look past that upside, you see low walk rates, decently high strikeout rates. And, this is a spot that Paul Blackburn at 7K can put up 20, 25 plus. So, yeah, ton of interest in Paul Blackburn today. I was really excited, too, that, like, I saw Prize Picks had some projections out for pitcher strikeouts already. Blackburn wasn't one of them. I was so excited, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't get in the pick'em streets. Will, I tried.
My assumption is he's 4.5. Probably comes in at Prize Picks at 5.
All right. Well, I like the over or the more than 4.5 on him.
Yeah,
that's the line. So, Bats, Kansas City Bats. Any interest here in the Royals?
I'm going to pass today.
I think if I was playing Royals, I'd stack them and just hope you have an upside game. But I'm not getting to them in a 3-incher max today. I have a slight interest in the Oakland bats today, Will. I mean, I get like this whole Tucker Davidson is going to be a lefty starting, and we might lose in that bat against the right-handed pitcher. But I mean, Oakland still has some sneaky value here. Seth Brown is 3,600. Kemp is 34. He can steal bases and get on base. We lost a couple of these like cheaper guys to the IL that we were liking here for a little while. But yeah, I think Oakland's interesting. Butler's still 2.2K. Hit leadoff over the weekend. I saw a lineup alert and saw Butler in the leadoff spot. Love that. This is definitely a spot. Roker gets the at bat against the lefty to start the game. Zach Geloff is someone that's been hitting well. Like, there's upside in this Oakland lineup.
Yeah, I get it for sure. Like you said, there are going to be opportunities. Butler at 2,200, like you said, I don't hate him. Even Ruiz, Stevie. I know that this is a guy earlier this season we were probably playing a lot more, but he still got the speed. If he gets on, steals are available. So I don't hate mixing him in with some of these other guys. I don't want to full stack Oakland, but I think 2 or 3 mans definitely in the cards.
Ruiz has 48 stolen bases on the season. I remember at a point DraftKings just wouldn't raise his price, and I think I played him every day for like weeks. So
yeah.
All right,
it's still worth it. He gets a walk, he can steal 2. It's literally still worth it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Miami at San Diego, no total in this game. We got Johnny Cueto against Blake Snell. Any interest here in Cueto?
No.
Yeah, no. Low strikeout pitcher against a low strikeout offense. No thanks. I'll pass. Blake Snell getting a matchup here with the Marlins. Any interest in Blake Snell?
I like Blake Snell. I'm not as in love with him as I would have been if we didn't have some of these mid-tier options on the slate, for what it's worth. But this is the guy that could bury you on the slate. I'm in.
All right, Will. You know me. We've been doing a lot of shows together for a long time. I like to take stands, especially in 3-entry max stuff. I think my stand today is going to be Blake Snell. I think I'm going to fade Blake Snell today. I have reasons. Miami's a top 10 offense against left-handed pitching. They're very sneaky good against lefties. Blake Snell's been struggling a little bit. He went on that stretch where he was pitching phenomenal for like a month and a half, but he's been struggling a little bit. Berger came over. Bell is good against left-handed pitching. Soler is just absolutely crushing left-handed pitching. So when I'm looking at, I think Blake Snell is going to be massive chalk today too, for what it's worth. So like when I'm thinking of like ownership and like Blake Snell just being Blake Snell, his strikeout rates are down. His walks are back up. Like, we saw there for a while, like the walks seem to be a little better. But, he just can't throw strikes. He's been giving up home runs. A chalky Blake Snell against an offense that's actually decent against left-handed pitching. I think people just get excited for the matchup and seeing the Marlins name, and instead of just realizing, like, hey, this team actually is solid against left-handed pitching. So
I know. Here's what I will say. Once again, I'm not as excited because I think the mid-tier options are great today. So I'm not going to be like way overexposed to Blake Snell. What I will say is Blake Snell has kind of had some of the teams that I just have avoided this season. Now, he did pitch well against Texas, but like he's gone on a stretch of Texas, the Dodgers, Arizona, and Baltimore. And then today he's getting Miami. I think I still play him because of the upside, but I'm not going to be overexposed if that makes any sense. I guess I'm with you. Like if Snell comes in at 40%, I'm just going to hit the X button like immediately. If he's 25, I'm still in for what it's worth.
All right, let's talk some bats here. Miami bats. I actually have some interest here. Like again, Blake Snell's been struggling. Like Soler has been one of the best hitters in baseball against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, season too. This didn't just start. All season.
I am a huge Jake Berger fan. I think he is a very, very underrated hitter in general. So I could see myself using a little 3-man Marlins stack here. If Blake Snell is getting, like you said, if he's getting like 40% ownership, I could see making like a 4-4 type of stack and using like a Marlins 4-man stack and building out like a half-end Marlins stack. So I think there's upside in this lineup. And I think that if Blake Snell is going to be chalk, I might take advantage of, trying to see if it'll work out for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Miami's been good. And I think, Steven, they've been trying to get the right pieces. You go and get Luis Arias. You go, they've got Soler. The young guys have still kind of been striking out some, but they built it with some old guys. They went and got Yuri Gurriel. They went and got, they had the shortstop, G. Segura. I think they actually denied the trade for Segura, so I think he might actually still be there. But my point is, they just went and got some veterans that can kind of give them some culture. This team's been hitting well. I'm with you. I'm in on some mini Miami stacks for sure.
And still, again, I say this now because we're still in August, but like we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season. Like these series where like the wild card battle, like the Miami Marlins are like legitly in the wild card battle. They're obviously not winning the NL East. The Braves are very safe there, but they are very much in the battle for the wild card here. And I mean, the Padres are on the outside looking in right now. So like if the Marlins can go get 2 or 3 games here against San Diego, it's huge for them. So Padres bats. I mean, I love picking on Johnny Cueto. So yeah, sign me up for some Padres here.
Yeah, get ready for your bag of disappointment. But I like Juan Soto. I like Tatis, Grisham, Cronenworth. Give me Manny Machado. Like they should be able to get hits off of Cueto for sure. It's whether or not the runs come. And so I'm in on this team. Ha-Seong Kim's been leading off. He's been hitting really well leading off since they moved him to that position, Stevie. So once again, I like this team. Gary Sanchez has been good. 3,900. I think he's in consideration for a guy we added to our stacks as well, and not too expensive. Love San Diego. Can they score the runs today? Let's hope.
Also, like it's the flip side of the conversation, right? Like if you're the Padres, you sweep the Marlins here. You're not back in it, but you're back in it. Kind of thing. So Johnny Cueto has allowed 7 home runs over his last 4 starts. Like he has allowed multi-home runs in 3 of his last 4 games. This is a fantastic spot to attack Johnny Cueto. Again, I'm with Will.
San Diego Padres. Will they show up?
Get ready for the pain. Get ready for the pain. But yeah, I think this is it's an interesting game overall. Be really interested to see what the total of this game comes out to.
Yeah.
All right, Texas and Arizona is where we finish up here on this Sunday night for this Monday podcast. 9.5 total in this game. Rangers a 145 favorite. We got Montgomery and Cincinnati. I'm never going to get this guy's name right, but he's pitching for Arizona today. He's number 43. He's going to try to throw strikes. Any interest here in Jordan Montgomery?
No. And I know Arizona has been hitting well, but I'm not going to fool myself into tricking to play in Arizona. I'm not playing Jordan Montgomery at 9,800. I don't care what he did against the Angels. Like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of interest in Montgomery. I don't have a ton of interest in Ciccone either. This is a game that I think you could game stack. I think there's a lot of potential for runs in this game. Okay. I say that. I definitely like the Arizona side way more than the Texas side. Or the Texas side way more than the Arizona side. I think the problem with Jordan Montgomery is just the price. I know he's coming off a phenomenal game against the Angels, but I hate thinking about this price for Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, that's the Angels.
So picking on Ciccone here with Texas, man, I feel like this is a great spot for the Texas bats.
Oh, yeah. Love Texas here. Sign me up for Seager. Sign me up for Simeon, who's back under 6K now. Garcia's been hitting well. And then they've still got the cheap guys, Stevie. So they've still got Jankowski. They've still got Grossman. Like they've still got some of these cheap guys that are in there. I like this spot for Texas. Texas and the Braves. We don't have to fool ourselves. They're good hitting teams. You can play them against anybody. You take him on a slate like this one, Stevie, which I think they'll get some ownership tonight for what it's worth. But, they're still the last game of the night. Perhaps their ownership's a little bit lower than the Braves. I'm in.
Arizona bats. I mean, I definitely respect Montgomery. I think that, like, if you want a one-off Christian Walker, he's just crushing left-handed pitching this season. Pham is 4K, gives you some nice value. I don't think I'm stacking against Montgomery. I said I had interest, but it's more of Montgomery's price than anything else. So,
yeah. And imagine, Stevie, this year Christian Walker's 5,400. I don't know if people realize this, but for the past couple seasons, we've been playing Christian Walker for like 3K. So this is incredible.
28 home runs. Like, he's almost at 30 home run club. So
yeah, this is incredible.
All right, let's play the morning grind game, and we'll get out of here because I need sleep. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got today?
Touki Toussaint.
I like it. We all know who I'm going with. Paul Blackburn. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
Give me Jordan Montgomery.
I'm going to go James Paxton. Tough spot for my boy today. Tough spot in Houston. Over 4,000 to go yard. Who's hitting a home run today?
I hate the ballpark, Stevie, but man, come on, Arenado. Like, let's go, man. Nolan Arenado, St. Louis Cardinals. Don't burn me today.
Yeah. I mean, you want it to happen for sure. Give me Corey Seager. He's one of my favorite hitters on the slate today. Under 4K, not over 4K. Under 4K, they get 2 hits. Who's a cheap bet that you like today?
Give me. This is my tough one today. I think I'm going to stick with how I've been feeling. Give me Mike Moustakas at 3,200.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. I'm going to go to Tyler O'Neill to get 2 hits today.
Yep, I like it.
Stack score 6 or more runs. Who do you got?
Man, we got a lot of options today. I am going to go with. You know what? God, I'm going to dread this, Stevie. I'm dreading it already. Give me St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Cardinals are in a good spot, so they're probably going to score 2 runs. And I could say that. We have so many Cardinals fans that hang out with that, so. I am going to say, my hot take today. I'm going to go to the Miami Marlins against Blake Snell. They're going to get 6 runs today. So could easily fail. If I wasn't taking the Marlins, Seattle was my other answer. I really like the Mariners today. So, yeah. Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, man. Everybody, yes. Everybody continue to enjoy baseball season. We're about to have a real melting pot of events. NHL will be back soon as well. So a lot of things are going to be happening all at once. College football, NFL, NBA. So just, man, enjoy it, guys. We're about to be in a real nice segment of time for sports.
Yeah. I mean, NASCAR playoffs about to get rolling. Like I said, Daytona season finale. Excited for that. But yeah, football season right around the corner. If you want to come hang out with us this afternoon, you can hang out with both of us. Chief has Take Your Pick'em at 4:30 Eastern, and then I'll be on Grinders live today with Dean and Tim at 5 Eastern. So go to Take Your Pick'em, give that man some love. He's in here twice a week, most weeks, breaking down slates with me. So go help him out and hit that subscribe button. So. Appreciate everyone for hanging out. Hope you have a fantastic day. Fantastic. I hope Monday is fantastic for you.
Yeah.
If you're listening right now and you're live with us, I go to bed and just know that you're going to wake up and have a fantastic day tomorrow. So that's going to wrap it up. Have a good one. We'll see you again tomorrow.